as a researcher, 56% of Americans say that Jesus speaks to them in a way that they feel is real and personal. I am one of those 56%. I believe that Jesus has helped me think about life and think about my purpose. I find him in the pages of the Bible. I've experienced times when I would literally say he was leading me or encouraging me or challenging me or correcting me or just loving me and all of the best parts of me and all the worst parts of me. I see even in my own family's life, times when our lives seem to intersect this divine world in a way that's really interesting. I was next to my daughter not too long ago, and I was asking her, why do you believe in Jesus? We go to church and we love being Christians, but why do you believe in Jesus? And she said, I believe him because we read about him in the Bible, Dad. And I said, well, that's a great answer, but we read about hobbits and trolls and wizards and other things. Like, why do we believe that Jesus is real? And she thought about that. I could tell she was really, really processing that question. And then she said, Dad, do you remember when we were praying for some families and we prayed for some friends, Darcy and Kimball and their kids. And then you remember how we saw them at Home Depot, like just a few minutes later, like 15 minutes after this drive we had taken, we'd been praying about this family. And remember, Dad, how we looked at each other and we felt like that's an answer to prayer. And she said, that's why I believe in Jesus. And to me, it was this really, really cool moment. Not only because like my child had faith, but because this idea of, maybe there really is some sense of meaning and purpose and our human lives intersecting with what's happening in a spiritual way, in some other kind of dimension. And because our lives were being put out there to try to pray for the good of this family, that we had experienced Jesus in a personal way. That was an incredible moment for me as a dad.